Farm Week is a production of the Mississippi State University Extension Service.
Today on Farm Week, the battle heats up over the Obama administration's plans to enforce new meat industry antitrust rules.
A new form of ag safety net has been proposed in Congress. It's called shallow loss.
In southern gardening, container gardens, they can be planted with great success in the fall.
In the markets, exports of U.S. corn and soybeans will be adversely affected by growing world supplies, while fewer cattle are being placed in feedlots due to tight supplies. John Michael Riley has analysis.
In the feature segment, the Magnolia Honey Company of Woodville, Mississippi. This business is owned by 3 women, and it's earning a reputation for its specialty foods sweetened with honey.
We want to make your experience with the company as good as it possibly can be, and be able to really just affect the customers positively and let them understand what they're buying, because being a product that's sweetened entirely with honey is different from anything else that's out there. We buy our honey from all Mississippi-based producers.
Good day, everyone. I'm Leighton Spann.
And I'm Artis Ford. Welcome to Farm Week.
There were battles in Washington this week between the Congress and the U.S. Department of Agriculture implementing new antitrust rules against U.S. meat companies.
Leighton, it has to do with a major revamp of the rules governing the meat industry in the United States. The Obama administration is set to release its final version of these rules shortly. The revamp would change how poultry companies pay chicken growers, and it would make it easier for ranchers to sue meat packers for antitrust violations. Monday, a congressional subcommittee voted to strip some of the funding for enforcement of the new antitrust rules proposed by the Obama administration. The next day, the USDA said that it would abandon its enforcement plans for portions of the antitrust bill if the enforcement money is not restored.
At a time when the Congressional Super Committee is seeking to eliminate federal programs, some ag state lawmakers have proposed a new so-called shallow loss program for the next farm bill. Market to Market's Mark Pearson says it would supposedly help with minor losses.
As the Congressional Budget Axe continues to hang above federal farm programs, a new piece of America's agricultural safety net could take its place. Policymakers have begun crafting a so-called shallow loss insurance program for the nation's farmers and ranchers. Defenders of the potential new farm program say it would cover minor crop losses and could begin paying farm owners after revenue falls by 5 to 10%. The shallow loss insurance would supplant federal direct payments, long the bane of non-farm lawmakers and currently under fire from all corners of a suddenly budget-conscious Congress. But reaction in farm country is mixed due to the potential upheaval of traditional farm payments. The American Farm Bureau Federation cautions that shallow loss insurance could encourage farmers to make riskier planting decisions and further skyrocket land prices. Farm Bureau President Bob Stallman wrote to agricultural committees saying shallow losses do not typically jeopardize the survival of a farm operation. Congressional leaders argue much of the existing structure for federally subsidized crop insurance with premiums paid by farmers would remain alongside shallow loss. But a Midwestern economist released a report this month calling the potential new program a boondoggle. Bruce Babcock, an agricultural economist at Iowa State University, said the only rationale for a new federal revenue guarantee program on top of existing revenue insurance programs is that it seems politically easier to defend than direct payments. Babcock's study was commissioned by the Environmental Working Group, a longtime critic of federal direct payments. Other organizations like the National Corn Growers Association support shallow loss as a cheaper, more stable government farm program. Members of the House Agriculture Committee defend the program as being superior to direct payments, which pay out in both good and bad years on the farm. Shallow loss would only trigger in the case of falling prices or when crops are damaged. Much of the farm program upheaval stems from still uncertain debt negotiations amongst members of the Congressional Super Committee. While much of the financial parameters for the next farm bill may be decided largely by the Super Committee, agricultural leaders in the U.S. House and Senate will likely determine the fate of any new initiative.
Have you noticed how Mother Nature shows off warm colors during the cool fall? Well, in this week's Southern Gardening segment, Extension horticulturist Dr. Gary Bachman shows us that planting combination containers can bring more of those warm fall colors into the landscape.
During the fall season, the warm colors of nature can easily be brought into our landscapes using combination containers. These colors add excitement to the cool temperatures. Today I'm at Pine Hills Nursery getting some creative ideas for fall season combination containers. Creating your own fall combination container is easy if you follow the Thriller, Filler, and Spiller formula. Don't limit yourself on plant selection. Use annuals, perennials, and even tropical houseplants. When cold temperatures are forecast, these combination containers will also look good inside. Thriller plants add height and create excitement to combination containers. I think one of the best thriller plants for fall is the tropical croton. Croton is upright and comes in a variety of warm fall colors. Or for a more dramatic presence, use Red Star cordyline. The rusty brown foliage has a sharp dagger-like effect. Filler plants add color and fullness. Bronze pink copper plant is a good choice. The foliage is a dark pink to bronzy red. Summer sun coleus with their warm fall colors also makes a good choice. Spiller plants add a sense of gracefulness as they cascade over the edge of the container. Nothing beats an ornamental sweet potato as the spiller plant in a fall combination container. The bright chartreuse of tumbling Lysomachia provides color contrast. Other choices that make spiller plants are new gold lantana or colorful juicy fruit nemesia. It's not too late to plant your fall combination container. Go to your local garden center and be creative. I'm Gary Bachman for Southern Gardening.
Gary says with the help of your garden center and your imagination, you can create great containers. Well, in the feature segment, the Magnolia Honey Company in Woodville, Mississippi. This company produces 15 gourmet food products, all sweetened with honey. Time now for the markets with Leighton. And Leighton, you say that the export business is looking weak for some sectors.
That's right, Artis. We'll tell you about some new projections that are out in a moment. Also ahead in the markets, one economist says corn prices are unlikely to drop below $4. The tight feeder supply is reflected in the new cattle on feed report. And the pork industry is excited about new trade opportunities. The chief economist with American Farm Bureau said this week the corn market is too volatile to make a good prediction right now, but Bob Young does say he doesn't foresee a scenario where corn prices drop below $4 a bushel. Young told Brownfield Ag News corn prices just aren't necessarily going to stay on what he calls the $5.50 to $6.50 plateau. The USDA is saying that the increased supply of corn, soybeans, and wheat outside the United States in the 11-12 marketing year is going to have an adverse impact on our exports. Corn production in the rest of the world is projected to be over 6.5% larger than production of a year ago. Foreign wheat production is expected to be up close to 7%. The smallest foreign increase is projected for beans. USDA says bean production outside the U.S. will rise less than 2% above what it was a year ago. As some of those numbers in the previous story indicate, there is no shortage of wheat supplies expected in the world. Analyst Don Roos of U.S. Commodities says a plentiful forecast has really turned Chicago soft red wheat negative out in the market.
I think if you look at it, the wheat, Chicago wheat, soft red wheat, to tell you how negative it really is, we're back to where we were really basically back July of 2010 on the front month. And so we're just struggling. Wheat's running a discount to the corn, 20-25 cents, almost unheard of. So, as far as the sales, we think when you have 50 to 75 cent rallies, you have to use those as pricing opportunities unless there's something else going on in the world environment that's not going on right now.
Well, needless to say, lots of turkey is about to be eaten around the country and world in the next week. Our trivia quiz, well, it's about wild turkey. the game you primarily hunt in the spring in Mississippi. The heaviest wild turkey on record in the state of Mississippi was taken in what county? That's our question. The possible answers: Panola, Claiborne, Amite, or Greene. I'll tell you in a few more minutes.
We're going to pause for a short break on Farm Week. Coming up, we'll look at the calendar and the second part of the markets. Leighton Spann updates us on cattle and hog prices. In the feature segment today, the Magnolia Honey Company of Woodville, Mississippi. It's taking the natural sweetness of Mississippi honey and making a reputation with it.
Each year, many Mississippians are seriously injured or killed when farm tractors overturn. One cause of these accidents is improper hitching. If a tractor is hitched at any point above the drawbar, it can flip over backwards. Never hitch a tractor using the bar between the three-point hitch upper and lower links or at the top link attachment point. The stationary drawbar is the only safe location for tractor hitching. A message from the Mississippi State University Extension Service.
Before we get back to the markets, let's look at the Farm Week calendar. Acidified canned food certification and training will take place on Tuesday, November 29th. It will be at the Boss Conference Center on the MSU campus in Starkville. You need to pay your $100 registration fee by at least 1 week before. This training is for individuals who wish to preserve and sell acidified foods at Mississippi Certified Farmers Markets. We will have a link on the Farm Week calendar to get you registered. Mississippi State University's annual row crop short course is December 5th through the 7th on campus in Starkville. Register by Friday, November 25th, and it's free. It's $40 at the door. This meeting will save or make you money. The agenda includes Kip Colors of Missouri, the holder of the soybean yield world record. We'll have registration and agenda information on the Farm Week calendar. Go to our Farm Week website at farmweek.msucares.com for information on these and other events. Now it's time for this week's Farm Week Snapshot.
The monthly Cattle on Feed report was released Friday afternoon, November 18th. I talked with Extension Ag economist Dr. John Michael Riley the day before the numbers were actually released to discuss those pre-report estimates that are out. What's the story from the pre-report estimates, John Michael?
Looking for cattle on feed November 1 to be about 4% higher than where we were at a year ago. That would put it at just over 12 million head. Placements are actually expected to be down a little bit from a year ago, about 1% below, while marketings for during October are expected to be about 1% above a year ago. So even though we have this switched where we might expect a lower cattle on feed number, we saw such a push since really July, a really big push of cattle in July. And it's been that same way all the way through for the past couple of months. So we've got just a glut of cattle out there. Those cattle placed during that time period a lot greener than typical, so they're taking a little longer to finish out. So we still have quite a glut of cattle to push through the chain, and as a result, number on feed should be a little bit higher.
All right, how does this affect prices now as we look at this report and look at what prices may do?
No big surprises here. I think everybody expects this number to be still a little bit higher as a result of the push in marketings over the past couple of months. A lot of that's been priced in already. But if you look at where we've been with prices over the past couple of weeks, we reached a peak at the beginning of November, or not a peak, but almost hit the record highs that we were at in April. We got near those in the early part of November, and actually some of your more deferred contracts, if you look out into the middle part of 2012, those are reaching record levels right now. So really good prices are out there for the most part for our cattle as a result of this just expected tight supply as we continue to work this glut of cattle through the chain.
And I believe there was one report that processors, because of the higher prices, have kind of slowed down the slaughter or processing the last few days.
They're cutting back on the number of man hours. They're as a result of this, they're trying to get their cost of production in line with what they're having to pay for these the dressed cattle and cattle coming out of the feedlot, which is really high prices for the most part. But we are seeing the holiday run. Everybody's kind of positioning ahead of Thanksgiving and Christmas, and as a result, we are seeing some prices push higher over the past couple of days.
With the recent passage of the Korea, Colombia, and Panama free trade agreements, Brownfield Ag News reports U.S. pork producers are excited about their future export possibilities. Nick Giordano, a vice president with the National Pork Producers Council, calls those recent agreements, quote, huge victories. He says that projections from Iowa State University show $770 million worth of pork exports created under the agreements, more than 10,000 direct pork industry jobs, and an $11 increase in live hog prices per animal over the 10-year phase-in period for all of the agreements. As for the present state of the hog market with an eye towards the near future, at least one analyst thinks that exports are about the only bright spot. Naomi Bloom had this commentary recently for Market to Market.
There's not much friendly news happening right now for it other than the export market, but seasonally this is the time of year when supplies are up, and that's weighing on price right now. So I think we'll have to see the washout back down, but overall 80 will hold, I think, strongly, and we'll see the market rally.
Time to see the trivia answer before our new feature story here on Farm Week. And here it is. Panola County in North Mississippi is where the heaviest bird on record was taken. The year 2009. The weight, 25.27 pounds.
In today's feature segment, Farm Week's Amy Taylor takes us to a woman-owned and operated business in Woodville, Mississippi that's making a name for itself in the gourmet food industry.
Artists armed with a handed-down recipe, one stovetop kettle, and loads of determination, Shan Miller started Magnolia Honey Company, offering all-natural products sweetened with honey. Now, with partners Raven Lewis and Gina Sessions, the trio is enjoying sweet success with its original jellies, sauces, and even pickles. The ladies say Magnolia Honey is committed to not only providing healthy, natural products, but the best in customer service. Woodville, Mississippi. To many who visit, it's like taking a step back in time. But stay a little while, and you'll find this charming small town is a unique blend of Southern tradition and modern-day business. For example, the woman-owned and operated Magnolia Honey Company is making a name for itself in the gourmet food market. Owner Shan Miller talks about how she founded Magnolia Honey Company.
There's a company that brings their beehives here, and they come here to breed their bees and grow their queens. And if you have property, they'll put their hives out on your place. It helps, pollinate all of your crops and what have you. And as a thank you, they will give you a case of honey. Well, my neighbor at that time happened to own a lot of property. She brought over 5 pounds of honey. And I just happened to mention to the lady, Miss Joanne Sessions, that sat behind me in church, and mentioned to her that Miss Susie had brought all this honey. And I like honey, but it's going to take a lifetime to eat it. And she said, well, I have a recipe for lemon or orange honey jelly I'll bring you.
With permission to use that recipe, Shan began her business. Then in 2003, Raven Lewis came on board after receiving a gift from Shan.
She gave me a gift in a little box, and it was a jar of honey jelly. And I realized that she had started a small business, and we talked about it, and I became involved only as much as I ordered gifts for friends and family for Christmas time. Lo and behold, I started working for her as an employee and then became a commissioned employee. We started selling the product elsewhere.
Marketing and sales eventually became Raven's role as she sold Magnolia Honey products at small grocery stores and gift shops. Shan is responsible for product development and cooking. Another active partner is Gina Sessions, who helps with other various aspects of the company. Raven says a big part of their success comes from offering to ship products to customers and keeping an updated website and Facebook page. She emphasizes that product details, shipping options, company history, photos, and contact information are an absolute must for achieving customer satisfaction.
We want to make your experience with the company as good as it possibly can be, and be able to really just affect the customers positively and let them understand what they're buying, because being a product that's sweetened entirely with honey is different from anything else that's out there. We buy our honey from all Mississippi-based producers, which is kind of a great thing. Honey is more slowly processed by the body. It is the most natural form of sugar. It lasts forever. They found it in the Pharaoh's tomb. And the fact that we are actually creating 15 different products, basically, that have honey as its main sweetener, does add some uniqueness. The flavors are just very intense and very, very satisfying.
Raven adds that Magnolia Honey jellies are not just made to be put on toast.
The Raspberry William honey jelly is wonderful, cut in a saucepan with some butter and some seasonings and used as a dipping sauce for dark meats and duck breast. The Jezebel sauce, while it's fabulous over a block of cream cheese, is also wonderful on a pork tenderloin. It's great on baked chicken. That's one of the things that we're trying to get out to people, is it's very versatile.
In addition, products are sold to restaurants for cooking with, and package deals are offered for corporate and business gifts. Since starting Magnolia Honey, the ladies were recognized by Southern Living magazine for offering some of the best gifts under $25. But the most exciting accolade was the Gold Sophie Award, which is like the Oscar of gourmet foods. National Association for the Specialty Food Trade awarded the Gold Sophie to Magnolia Honey's Raspberry William for outstanding jam. In response to questions about the unusual names for these items, Shan Miller says there's meaning behind each one.
Well, William is my youngest son, and Michael is my oldest son. That's Michael's hot pepper. Cranberry Lillian was my grandmother. The chocolate lace is actually, my grandfather's name was Alex Lacey Joyner, so that's kind of really after him.
Additionally, Hillside Blackberry is named after Raven's home, Juliet's Jezebel sauce is for Raven's mother-in-law, and Libby's mild or hot honey pickles are named in honor of Shan's beloved late niece, Libby Miller. All products are sweetened with only honey and have no preservatives or artificial coloring. In addition to selling from the store in Woodville, Shan, Raven, and Gina take products to trade shows and events like the annual Deer and Wildlife Festival celebrated at the town square. In fact, Raven's son, Ben Lewis, uses some of the ingredients from Magnolia Honey jellies at the festival's famous Wild Game Cook-Off. You could say it's been a successful effort. Ben Lewis, David Ryan, and others of Team Mallard Mafia have received top placings every year since the event started in 2008. Contest categories include venison, wild hog, fowl, and even alligator. The Deer and Wildlife Festival has something to offer everyone with a family-friendly environment. You will see trade booths offering an endless selection of hunting novelties, arts and crafts like pottery, woodwork, decorative wreaths, paintings, quilts, and even duck calls. Demonstrations are available all day, including the art of carving a canoe out of a cypress tree, and even monkeys riding dogs. Numerous children's activities are set up with a pumpkin patch, face painting, and even photos with Miss Mississippi. And of course, deer and wildlife exhibits are on site as well. Co-chairman Delton Moore says the event is getting bigger every year.
Initially, we kind of thought this was maybe a big party and we're not sure anybody was going to come, but luckily they did come, and we've had thousands every year. It's continued to grow. We kind of think of it as a homecoming, even if this is not your hometown. Maybe you could come here and enjoy it for a while with us. This is a really special area. It really grows on you real quickly.
Raven Lewis says she's happy to be part of a community that works to strengthen its economy with progressive ideas while maintaining its traditional small-town feel.
The more a community stays together with businesses and individuals getting together to help, the stronger the community will be in the long run. And we see that as a positive. We could sit and really not do anything and still ship stuff all over the country, but being involved in Woodville, this is where we are. This is where we want to stay.
Raven Lewis and Shan Miller say Magnolia Honey Company is making it possible for them to achieve their goals and stay right where they are. It can easily be said that this is a happy ending to the story of the gift that keeps on giving. From Woodville, Mississippi, I'm Amy Taylor reporting. You can watch this story on the Magnolia Honey Company again on our Farmweek website, Facebook page, or YouTube. The website address is farmweek.msucares.com. We'll also have a link to the Magnolia Honey Company website. It's www.magnoliahoney.com.
Well, how does it taste?
It's delicious. It's very different, and I can see why they've had such great success.
Of course, I'm a big fan of honey. You said, too, that they're striving to improve their business skills, and they've been to some Mississippi State University-sponsored workshops that are designed to do that.
Right. They, Shan attended the e-commerce workshop in Raymond and in Jackson at the Ag Museum for the beekeeping workshop.
Good story. Well, we are at the end of Farm Week for this week. Next week, we're going to have a Thanksgiving holiday edition of our show.
See how one Nebraska farmer is turning pig waste into watts of electricity.
We'll also return to the 1980s at the University of Iowa. It was a time of great economic hardship, and Iowa's football coach decided to let the nation know America needs farmers.
In Southern Gardening, Gary Bachman will show us some flowers made for the fall.
Well, if you'd like further information on Farm Week story, you can write us. You can get in touch with us somehow. Our snail mail address is Farm Week Box 9625, Mississippi State, Mississippi 39762. Our telephone number is 662-325-2262. You can also get in touch with us through your county office of the Mississippi State University Extension Service. For the rest of the Farm Week crew, I'm Artis Ford.
And I'm Leighton Spann. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week.